today we're reviewing
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
So we're back. We gotta grind out some movie reviews here, but
2 weeks, T-minus 2 weeks till Infinity War.
yes. And Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is about, it's the second chapter to the Guardians. It's mainly about Star-Lord exploring his past, just finding out stuff about his father, and that's the gist of the movie. Other characters have some different routes, but what are your initial thoughts about the movie?
I definitely really like this movie. I didn't really see the first one in theaters. I think I just saw it on like TV or maybe on Blu-ray. But I definitely really liked it. There was some good fight scenes. The characters, that's what makes this movie so great, is the characters are really good to follow along. You just want to see their next adventure. Like, there's not one that was really annoying to me. But overall, I really liked it.
And the reason we're probably going to talk quiet because it's like 12 o'clock at night here, so. But my initial thoughts, I definitely did really like this movie. There are a lot of memorable scenes. I mean, I like it better than the first one, but I didn't really see the first one in theaters. I didn't have expectations for it, but I definitely did really like it.
Just like I said, like I like these kind of movies, the group movies. Like I like Suicide Squad, Justice League. As long as the team works together, and like this one, just the way they play off each other, like every character they add, even the characters that aren't really in the Guardians of the Galaxy to start this one, like.
This is ridiculous.
So like in this movie, like obviously it's not like a real review. Like we're not gonna go through these things. You guys have already seen it, but like Yondu has a much bigger role in this movie, and his character, it's kind of sad to see. Because obviously spoilers.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad to see him go because I wanted to see him join this team. So I guess he was part of the Guardians of the Galaxy for a very short period of time.
Very short.
They also added. I guess I'll get to that later on.
Well, I just want to say going off of Yondu, he has some of the best scenes in this movie. Yeah. The scene with him taking out all the people in the ship is a great scene.
I think we both agree that like there's some really good action scenes, like that one he just said. Then also like the opening is really good. Like it just starts out in the middle of like what they do, like they go on different missions to kill different things.
Yeah.
That opening is really good. We definitely use that song in our own videos sometimes.
Oh yeah.
There's also the humor really worked. Almost probably I'd say 90, maybe 98, 99% of the time, which is saying something. They really. Almost everything worked, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I don't think there was any slow parts really to me. I guess when we get to negatives, I'll have a couple of things I'll say. But
another positive is the storyline between Gamora and Nebula. I thought that was a really good part of the movie.
That's actually a really big strength of the movie overall. Just how many good storylines they have, like that one between Gamora and Nebula. Also, the overall storyline of just Star-Lord's character, just the way that you see his parents, because all you really knew in the first one was that his mom died and he got taken away when he was a kid, and this definitely just it makes it pretty emotional towards the end when like he's going through these different things. He finally meets his dad, and you find out what he was actually doing. You find out that he killed his mom, and he was doing it to a lot of other women too. But then at the expense of those two main storylines, which I think you could probably say the two main storylines of that movie, besides the golden people that were kind of flying, that's kind of in the background instead of the third one. Drax started out pretty good in this movie, but then his role kind of went from what you want to see him fight. It's not really the movie's fault. They had other storylines they were focusing on, but he just didn't do a whole lot besides that first fight, just because he just was.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in all these movies, there's going to be one person who maybe doesn't get as much.
Yeah, it's hard when there's this many characters in a movie to keep everyone happy.
But that is a negative that Drax really didn't do much destroying, which, I mean, that's a complaint that I can totally agree with. And honestly, the negatives, there's not many negatives.
And then there's also another positive, is this one guy's walk to the main station there was pretty good.
There's actually one negative I found, is at the end, there's only negative. It's when, he has like the energy tentacles coming out. And that's the one point where it kind of gets to the point where I loved how Ego was like a skeleton. And when it gets to the point where you're fighting just like tentacle rock things, that's where I felt like it's kind of like what are they even fighting? And that's where
Well,
I
he's
was
just,
kinda
he's just, I mean, he's just like a being.
I know,
Like,
but
he
I'm
can
saying
form
that's
whatever he
where the
wants.
fight becomes like, okay, it's really like just kind of
It's hard to
meaningless.
it's hard to follow.
Yeah, well, that's why. But like, that's just where the fight would turn.
Well, he's the planet.
I know, I understand that, but I'm saying when they're fighting energy tentacles, that's where it gets to the point where it's a well. Then it needs it for me at least. It needs to be. That's just one little negative that. It would have been. It was a lot better when Star-Lord was actually fighting Ego.
My last night, I was having a hard time remembering one of the characters' names, but Mantis was just not one of my favorite characters. It's not really her fault. It's not like she's a fighter, but I just feel like that was not one of my favorite characters in that movie.
I thought it was a good character.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad character. I'm just saying it was just I would have rather had more backstory with Drax or more fight scenes than.
I was expecting Mantis to be able to fight.
She did give more to the movie towards the end. I actually was helping the group out, but there's just parts that I would have rather seen something else. But then again, it's not like she took me out of the news. It wasn't that bad.
And how did we not talk about the biggest strength? The freaking music.
Yeah, I mean the music's always good.
The
in these
soundtrack.
Movies. I mean,
everyone's like, it wasn't as good as the first one. Well,
I wouldn't agree with that.
I mean, I thought it was.
It was just as good, if not better.
I bought 2 to 3 songs out of the soundtrack, so.
I hear some of the songs on the radio.
Really good ones. Like one was like the main one where like Star-Lord attacked the guy.
I mean, but you'll see that. I mean, just from the name of the movie, Volume 2. I mean, this is just part of their storyline is the music.
And I mean, like this third, like where all the ships are showing up to that song is really good. Yondu's song, walking through with shooting the arrow, was really good.
They also progress Star-Lord and Gamora's relationship in this one, so that's. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they did really well, like progressing storylines. So it's gonna be interesting to see them in this next movie because I don't think they're gonna spend as much time with their character storylines. It's gonna be more of obviously the Thanos storyline, but. I think it's because there's a Guardians 3 that's definitely in the works, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's where they're probably going to add more onto it.
That's
it's going to be hard for this Infinity War movie to that's what. Yeah. Well, wait on that.
There's so much stuff though, but like the Nebula thing, they'll definitely have to carry over because that's such an important one. I mean,
that was pretty good because that's where this movie compared to Black Panther.
We're not sure
it progresses stuff that it's not a Thanos movie. Guardians isn't sort of partially is because this is Thanos' daughters, but. It progresses the storyline from that standpoint because you hear from Nebula, how bad he is and how bad he was to her, and you figure out his backstory or her backstory, and basically why those two don't get along. And even though I guess I'll say Nebula was ticking me off a little bit because Gamora only saved her like 3. She saved her like 3 times, and she still tried to kill her a few times. Which I can see why. I'm not saying I don't see why.
But
I can see it.
But actually, if you think about it, she was trying to kill her first. One after she saved her, she just like made it to where she was on the ground. So
yeah.
So she really wasn't trying to kill her after the same time. She literally could have stabbed her at the end. She didn't.
She could have, but
goodness, Kitty. Get a picture going.
Butt out.
The scene, a really good scene, is when Star-Lord finds out. Remember, he's like. It killed me and put that tumor in her head. And Star-Lord shoots him like a million times. That was a really good scene.
That was a good moment. I guess we didn't really talk about Rocket at all this whole review. I thought he had some pretty good scenes. Just going to wrap it up a little bit. Rocket definitely.
He had a good fight scene. Took out like 50 people.
We talked about that walk scene when they're walking from the ship to the other ship. That was that's the
that's
music.
Another example of the music that was really good.
There's a pretty cool space chase.
Yeah, where Drax gets freaking drilled by
that's a little. I think that's a little far fetched, but
that's the destroying that was accidental destroying. That wasn't the destroying one in the scene.
So I guess for my score for this movie, I definitely have to give this. You know what? This is the closest thing to perfect, because it's not perfect in my mind. So I have to give it 9.9.
Oh my gosh. Well, honestly, I really did. There's a lot of great scenes in this movie, which is why. But like I said, with the end battle, it was honestly really cool between Star-Lord and Ego. But I said how they started fighting like the tentacles, and it just got kind of meaningless with the fight. Really, other than that, I don't have any big enough, really, arguments about it. So I'd have to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, I thought it was really good, but the fight scene...
0.5
off it. I said the end fight scene with like the tentacles, then how the things were taking over the planets just got a little confusing.
0.5?
I mean, you can admit that got a little confusing.
It did, but for me, I mean,
But the fight scenes were really good.
I liked it.
I know, I really liked it too. I mean, 9.5 is really effing good.
I know, 0.4. So that was our quick review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. and we will see you guys in the next movie review. Bye.
Down there!